Welcome to Escape to the Country. Now, it is often said that an Englishman's home is his castle, but if that is indeed the case, who do you suppose built this one, where and why? Well, join me in just a moment and I'll tell you. On today's show, a husband and wife challenge us to find a new home for them and his elderly mother. But from early on, we stumble over style.
I would never want this kitchen.
Wow. This week's going to be more challenging than I thought. But later, some modern decor gets a big thumbs up.
This is more like it.
Hey, brilliant. Well, today we are in Cornwall, and this is the rather pretty St Maur's Castle, constructed high on the cliffs overlooking the Foul Estuary, and it was built by Henry VIII. He was expecting an invasion from the French and the Spanish following his divorce from Catherine of Aragon and his break with the Catholic Church. But this wasn't just about the defence of the realm for Henry, this was also an assertion of his power. His coat of arms, still above the doorway, bears the inscription, "Henry, thy honour and praises will remain forever." Now, of course, Henry has long gone, but thankfully this castle does remain as one of the best preserved Tudor landmarks on the Cornish coast. Today's search takes us to the county at the far western tip of Great Britain, bordering Devon. Jutting out into the Atlantic Ocean, Cornwall is almost completely surrounded by sea and has some 300 miles of spectacular coastline. From sea to shore, the craggy cliffs give way to vast swathes of moorland and heath and areas of outstanding natural beauty. Scarred with remnants of its industrial past, tin and copper mining peaked here in the early 19th century when the county boasted nearly 2,000 mines. Long abandoned stark chimneys remain as reminders, looking out across the water which sweeps along to picturesque harbours like Mousehole. Described by poet Dylan Thomas as the loveliest village in the UK, the narrow streets and stone fishermen's cottages huddle round the quay. It also inspired an award-winning children's story called The Mousehole Cat, about a cat which calms the sea. And it's these turquoise waters meeting dramatic skies with an overall climate more in keeping with the continent that attracts so many people wanting to call Cornwall home. Well, with so much to inspire you in this county, it's great to know that property prices are equally as captivating. Currently, the average price of a detached property in Cornwall is £273,000. That's £11,000 below the national figure. And of course, you can make your budget go that little bit further by getting away from the coast and those tantalising and expensive sea views and heading inland to towns like St Austell and Redruth. There, you could save yourself a further 50%. So, if you're here to property hunt, clearly the door to Cornwall is wide open. So let's meet today's buyers and find out what's attracted them to this glorious part of the southwest. Recent retirees David and Jenny from the village of Woodham Ferrers in Essex have lived in their current 5-bedroom house for the last 3 decades. They first met when David was working as a photographer at a busy local fair where Jenny was the jewel in the crown.
I was Chelsea Carnival Queen in 1974.
Well, I was there just taking some photographs of everything that was going on. There was the 3 of you, weren't there? Yeah. You were the Queen and there were 2 princesses from Chelmsford, and that was it. And I invited them all to a dance in the evening, and I picked the Queen, of course.
Married for 38 years, they have 2 children who've now grown up and moved away. So they feel the time is right to make a break from the busy, built-up streets of their local town to go in search of something more serene.
At the moment, we're in a very residential area. We're looking out at houses.
And we want space now. We want to be somewhere where our back garden, we don't look out and see roofs. We want to look out and see trees, and it would be lovely to see the sea. We like Cornwall because it's a variation everywhere. There can be beaches, coves, cliffs, fields and hills as well. You know, you can drive for 10 minutes and get a different outlook completely.
Joining them on the move will be David's mother, Dolly, who's lived with them for the last 20 years. At the grand age of 86, navigating their current home is no longer easy for her, so a downstairs bedroom is a must.
What we'd like to do is get her on the ground floor level, which we can't do practically in this house, so that she's got access to the kitchen easily and also hopefully go outside.
You know, if we're on one level, she feels like coming and being sociable and having a chat. She can toddle in and see us.
Since retiring, David has had more time to spend on his beloved model railway, so a space for his hobby would be just the ticket.
I was obviously into trains all my life, and my son is as well. And here we've actually had a garden railway, which is now dismantled, unfortunately, for the move. It would be nice, wherever we go, that I can have a rather nice shed in the garden or somewhere in the house where I can have where I can have my train shed.
And with all signs pointing in the right direction, packing has already begun.
We put the house on the market about 4 or 5 weeks ago now, and we had a few people round, and last weekend we actually got an offer on it. So we're ready to go. We're ready to go. Yeah.
David and Jenny want to move to the North Cornwall coast near St Ives, so we're going to concentrate our search around this area. I'm meeting up with them in the county to find out more about the priorities on their property wish list.
Jenny, David, welcome to Cornwall. Look at it, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Could be better. Yeah.
I wish I could sell you that view. I mean,
That one will do.
That one will do. I know you do want a house with a view, but you're also bringing your mum, Dolly,
Indeed. Yes, Dolly's
with you,
coming
David.
with us. Yeah. She's been with us for about 20 years now, since she retired.
Now, in terms of the properties that you've all been thinking about, I know there is a slight difference of opinion in the camp, Jenny.
Yes, well, I like modern houses and I like modern architecture. And David likes more cutesy-looking houses.
Should we say traditional?
Yeah, traditional houses.
Give us an idea of what it needs to have to really work for you.
Well, it's got to be a modern interior. I like a nice large kitchen as the hub of the home.
It can be open plan, can't it?
It can be, yes. And I also want a downstairs bedroom and a shower room for my mother-in-law. And I think, really and truly, as long as it's modern inside, perhaps David can have his...
Traditional exterior.
Absolutely. I've got a traditional exterior, so...
That would be a happy compromise, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would, yeah.
So downstairs bedroom, a must for Mum. Upstairs, 2-3 beds?
3 beds would be nice, because we got, you know, if the children come and stay and bring the little dots when we get them, that would be nice as well.
You also need space in this house for your hobby, David. Come on, tell us more about it.
Indeed, yes. I'm a keen model railway modeller. So, yeah, I need a room for my trains.
And in terms of outdoor space, I mean, are you keen gardeners? Would you produce something like this at
No,
Tree?
I can grow grass. That's it.
We have AstroTurf, let's be honest, David.
Yeah, we've got AstroTurf at the front.
That kind of tells me all I need to know, really. Okay. Now, your house is under offer, which is good news. So
Yes.
what's the budget?
450,000.
We've got 3, I think, very interesting, very different properties lined up for you today. We've got £450,000 for a house for you two and, of course, Dolly.
Yep.
And the trains. We've got a lot to do. Let's go.
Thank you.
With a budget of £450,000, David and Jenny are looking for a 3 to 4 bedroom house with a ground floor room that's accessible for David's mother. A large kitchen diner is a must for Jenny, and an inside or outside space for David's train set would be ideal. And whilst they don't agree on house style, they do agree on location, both wanting far-reaching views. We've found 3 fantastic properties to tempt them with, and at each one I'll be asking them to guess the price at the end of the tour. Our final stop will be our mystery house, which I hope will challenge them to go the extra distance.
What about hobbies that you can do together, Jenny? I mean, you know, Cornwall and its coast must be a great allure for you.
It is, and we thought we might get ourselves a little boat, like a picnic boat, that we can go out on in the daytime and, you know, pop around the coast a little bit.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Not on
wouldn't
the
it?
high seas, I might add, but
I want your life. I think it sounds ideal. It's great.
We're starting off our search exactly where our buyers want to be, in the seaside town of St Ives. This historic seafaring town once thrived on its prosperity from pilchard fishing, but a decline in stock and the arrival of the Great Western Railway in the late 1800s changed all that. St Ives soon became a popular holiday destination, attracting an artistic crowd and remains so to this day. It's surrounded by 5 award-winning beaches of white surf and golden sand, which sifts between the toes of thousands of visitors each year. Attracted not only by the stunning coastal scenery, but also the quaint cobbled streets of the old town known as Down Along, it caters for both tourists and locals alike. Just a mile from the seafront, on the outskirts of the town and at the end of a gravel track, we find our first property.
My traditional one.
Yeah.
OK.
I reserve
It's solid.
judgment.
He looks really solid.
You're not sure yet, but I'm confident this one could work for you because it's in the right location, it's got the right amount of space, it's certainly got lots of flexible accommodation.
Right.
And it's the first one on the list.
Well, we'll look at it. Yeah.
You will look at it, yeah, follow me.
Dating back to the 19th century, this handsome house was formerly a farm building. Built out of granite, it has the traditional facade David was after, even if Jenny isn't yet convinced. However, it does have a modern extension as well as far-reaching country views. But what will she make of the rustic decor?
This, I think, is the best place to start, Jenny.
Yes.
You can see you like it.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
I mean, it's very cute and traditional. But for years, I've lived with a brick fireplace in my lounge, and I've always wanted to rip it out. It's very lovely, but it's not a Jenny kitchen.
David, help me out.
It's a modern kitchen made with old materials.
I would never want this kitchen.
Wow. This week's going to be more challenging than I thought. Let's go next door, come on.
Across the hall, accessed through a lovely dining room, we come to the newly extended sitting room.
Now, this is a room that I love, but I'm beginning to wonder that because I might like it, you probably won't, Jenny. What do you reckon?
No, I like this. This is not... I know, it's modern, isn't it? This
No,
room is
I
not...
like the fireplace. It's
Yeah.
very interesting.
Yeah, it links a modern room with an old house. Very good, yeah.
Now, just across the hallway there is the downstairs shower room.
Right.
So, your mum, David, could potentially have this
Yeah.
and access to the downstairs shower room across there. Yeah. So it might have the options we're after.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
It's just style.
It's just style.
With the living room earmarked for David's mother and an additional utility room to boot, we need to find a living space for the whole family. And the way the current owner has reassigned the 4 upstairs rooms is an excellent solution. Down a long corridor, the first room is already presented as a lounge and takes full advantage of the rural surroundings.
Wow.
Wow, I love the view. Very amazing view.
This, I think, ordinarily would be the master bedroom.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The view's great. It's still very old feel in the house. And it's a beautiful house, just not me.
Also on this floor off the hallway is a large family bathroom, a separate shower room and 2 further bedrooms, both large enough to fit a double bed. That leaves just one last bedroom to see.
So currently there are 3 bedrooms here. They're all the same sort of size, any one of which could be your master bedroom, really.
Yeah, it's interesting. And there's more
Still not
brick,
convinced.
more stone.
More stone. If you're gonna knock it, get it right. Like, it's stone. It's not brick.
Stone.
Yeah. Brilliant. Come on. What are we gonna do with you? I just,
I think I may have underestimated Jenny's desire for a modern interior, but hopefully the incredible setting outside might help her fall for this charming farmhouse.
Say, David. I'm thinking outdoor railway now, garden railway in 3/4 of an acre, which is what this plot is.
I can see what you mean, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a big garden railway.
But consider, if you will, the views, because it's what everybody wants, but it's not what everybody can afford.
Yeah,
That's
it's
true, that's
beautiful.
true.
So, who's going to make me an offer first?
Well, I think this is about 425.
Oh, straight in with 425. OK, David?
I'd go for 435.
435. You're right to creep up the scale somewhat.
Yeah.
This is currently on the market for offers in excess of 450.
Right.
Right.
That's the weight of St Ives just bumping those numbers up. I like it, and I'm confident this could be a grower. Go on, off you go. Go and have another look around. I'm not going to take no for an answer.
On the market for offers over £450,000, this former farmhouse set in a beautiful location could offer the flexibility our buyers are after. Though the traditional style may not be to Jenny's taste, the layout does offer ground floor living that would be ideal for David's mother, leaving our couple the run of the upstairs, including its 3 bedrooms and lounge with views. And it's all topped off with a great garden.
This is large.
Train room.
Big.
It's nice and long as well. Yeah, that'll work. My feelings of house one are it's a very comfortable house. It's a sweet-looking house. It's real chocolate box on the outside, it really is. The garden's lovely as well. It's been very well looked after.
David's mother would like this house. She would love the double doors onto the garden. She would enjoy the scenery because the views are amazing.
Come on, Jenny. Look, running out the door. Can't wait to move on. David, that loft space, perfect for more railway.
Absolutely. It's just the right size, it is indeed. And I've got the garden.
And you've got the garden as well. I mean, you know, we just need to find a house that you both enjoy.
We do.
Right then, 2 more to come. Let's crack on.
Just beyond Falmouth, the ragged rocks of South Cornwall's coastline give way to the sheltered muddy waterways and wildlife haven that is the Helford River. This flooded valley was once an important trading point where ships brought rum, tobacco and lace back from the continent. Nowadays, many people choose to explore the creeks by boat, and with David and Jenny keen to buy one, we've arranged for them to meet Hetty Wildblood, who's made a living out of her love of the area.
Welcome to Cornwall.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's lovely. How long have you been in Cornwall?
We've been down here for 4 years. We were holidaying in Cornwall and seeing friends and family, and then we just fell in love with the beaches and the coastline and the lifestyle, so we decided to move down here from Harrogate.
Oh, wow.
That's a
So a real change, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then we set up the water sports, we set up a kayaking company, and we also do Halford River cruises, so enjoying
lovely.
the wildlife and the outdoors.
Today's trip launches from a small quayside on a boat called the Hannah Molly. 19 feet long, she's built of wood and is similar to the traditional Cornish cove boats used for centuries to ferry fishermen around. These days, tourists are the more popular catch who come to see the abundant wildlife that lives along the river. Sadly hidden from view today, it's not uncommon to spot kingfishers and herons along the water's edge, and even the occasional dolphin at play.
We would like to possibly, if we move down here, buy a boat and start, you know, really using the facilities.
So have you any advice for sorts of boats that we could get on this river? Or
Well, there's a lovely boatyard up at Gweek, actually, and
Oh,
they
right.
actually make boats from scratch.
Oh,
So you can go in there and actually describe what kind of boat. You can buy a selection of second-hand boats. People tend to sell them at the end of the season.
Oh,
Right.
So it's quite a good time to buy a second-hand boat.
What's this where we are now called?
We're on Frenchman's Creek now.
And why was it called Frenchman's Creek then?
Apparently, this was a smokehouse just over here, and it was used to smoke the fish. So the French would smoke their fish here before the age of fridges, and they'd smoke it and then set sail back to France.
Clever, yes.
And the Cornish nicknamed it Frenchman's Creek. The creek has inspired thousands of people over the years. Daphne du Maurier, who obviously
Yes,
came on
yes.
holiday here with her family in 1927, and then by 1932 she came down here with her husband Tommy on their honeymoon.
Oh.
And they moored up, and she absolutely loved it here.
Set on these still and soundless waters, du Maurier went on to write the classic novel of the same name. And it was also on these banks that local resident and 20th century maritime artist Percy Thurban left his mark.
He was a bit naughty. At 17 years old, he ran off and joined the Navy. He ended up coming along with his boat, the Iron Duke, which you can see behind you. He moored up here, and he went and asked the farmer if he could go and build a house on the land. And he built a house up there, which you can see.
Wow.
Do you think we'd get away with that now?
You never know, you never know. And then in 1940, he gave it to the National Trust.
No trip on the river would be complete without stopping for tea, and the Ferry Boat Inn, dating back to the 16th century, makes an excellent spot.
It's lovely down here, isn't it?
Beautiful, really lovely.
Really good.
Yeah. That was a fantastic trip on the river as well.
It was.
Really made me think, yeah, the little boat, absolutely ideal.
So now you're going to be buying lots of boating magazines to choose a boat.
Absolutely right, yep, from trains to boats now.
So with David and Jenny fully refreshed, it's back to the house hunt. For our second property, we're moving up the coast to the village of Goonhaven, 3 miles from the small seaside resort of Perranporth. Popular for the Atlantic swell that brings surfers to the shore, in the 5th century the waters also washed up an extremely important figure to the county, St Piran, one of the patron saints of Cornwall, who set about building a small chapel in the sand. These days people flock here not only to celebrate St Piran's Day, which happens on the 5th of March, but also to enjoy some 3 miles of golden sands that stretch either side of the historic bay. Just a short drive away back to Goonhaven is where we find our next house.
Now, our thinking on this one is that this morning we started with old, for you, David.
Yes.
This afternoon we're going new, for you, Jenny. What do you think?
Yeah, it's modern.
Stylistically, I'm hoping, Jenny, this is
It's
going
modern, yeah.
to be more of the thing, and I think you'll like it as well.
OK.
And I am going to convince you that this could be the property for both of you.
Right.
Are we all agreed?
We're very agreed.
Right, come on.
Let's
then.
go see it.
Finding a house to cater for 2 generations and that hits the mark decor-wise was always going to be a tall order, but I think this modern house built in the 1980s does just that. It comes with a double garage and is immaculately decorated throughout. We're starting off in the kitchen.
Now, is this or is this not more like it?
This is more like it.
Hey, brilliant.
Yes, there's lots of cupboard space. Yeah, it's very nice.
Very nice. I mean, look how slick it is. You've got a fabulous range there with, I have to confess, the funkiest extractor hood I've ever seen.
It's lovely, very nice,
Yeah.
very nicely done.
Now,
Spacious as well.
The clever thing is they've extended it, right? This little doorway here was a set of patio doors going out to quite a dark little courtyard.
Yes.
But they've extended it, creating this fabulous kind of family space, dining
It
room.
is very good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I like
lovely.
the space.
And then it all flows through in this lovely open plan way into your main sort of family living room. Really nice wood burner built in there, very kind of contemporary. And then through that wall there, they've done something rather clever, leaving these little pillars there, which are part glazed, separating the room, but also
Yeah, it gives
kind of
it
connecting it.
Yeah, yeah. I like it because it's interesting.
Yeah.
There's some very interesting design features in the house, which suit it very well.
And let's spare a thought for Dolly, actually, because we have got dedicated downstairs bedroom and shower room next door. And that means that she's on this level and then she can share this space with
Yeah,
you.
yeah, that would be nice.
And also she'd better move around well because you could open the
Yeah, double
doors
doors there.
Yeah.
so,
and she can get with her frame and...
Yes.
It'd be nice to sit in the family room outside there,
Yeah.
looking out in the garden. Yeah.
Right then, let's go upstairs. You will not be disappointed with what's on offer.
With David's mother's room sorted, I hope the upstairs will suit them just as well. A fresh modern bathroom featuring a freestanding bath serves 2 bright and light-filled bedrooms. Then last of all is the impressive master with a deck terrace to maximise the superb views.
There.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the ceiling joists being left.
It's also got a walk-in wardrobe there, and through that door you've got quite a small shower ensuite, and of course you've got
Oh,
the
look at the
balcony.
view. Yeah, the
Yeah,
views.
views are incredible.
Great.
Well, let's get outside and talk about the money, shall we? And see where we go from there.
Okay.
With some good vibes from David and Jenny, I feel we're heading in the right direction. The garden, which wraps around the side of the property, is decked to provide a great place for al fresco entertaining.
Isn't that view lovely?
That's beautiful, really is.
It's really
I mean, sort of
nice.
nicely framed, as it were, but it does set the whole property off. Not as big a garden as we had at number 1,
No.
but in a way, I'm not bothered because I don't think you really wanted that much land, did you?
No. Need it easy to upkeep as, you know.
And flat enough for the railway tracks.
It is very nice and flat.
Yeah. So there you go. That's what's on offer. Is it going to work for you financially? That's the big question. So, David.
I would say 375.
OK.
Well, I was going to say it's bang on budget.
Yep.
Might even be 455.
This is on bang on budget at £450,000.
Right. Okay. It has a lot of elements that I'm looking for.
Good. Well, I'm
Okay.
delighted that you got the money right. I think we've all enjoyed seeing this one. It's a
Yeah.
really, really good option for
It
the
is,
pair of
it's
you.
a lovely
Fabulous
house.
It's a fabulous house.
Yeah.
On the market for £450,000, this price tag gives them a property that's definitely worth considering. Of the 4 bedrooms, 1 is downstairs, ideal for David's mother. It has the modern style that Jenny was looking for, along with plenty of sunlit rooms. And the garden has a large deck terrace to watch the sunset over the meadows.
When I walked inside and saw the layout, I thought it's got a beautiful flow to it. The rooms connect, it's got some architectural details. The rooms are light and airy, the ceilings are high. It had every ingredient that I like in a house.
I think house number 2 would be suitable for Mum. The bedroom downstairs is a good size, and there's the shower room just outside the bedroom, which will be perfectly adequate for her. And also, the inside of the house is all on one level.
Well, that's it for today. Has it been a good one, a useful one?
It has, yeah. You've given us something old, yeah.
And you've given us something new.
It's all good, isn't it? And tomorrow, that's going to remain a mystery. Come on.
It's the start of day 2 in Cornwall, with Jenny and David from Essex, who have a budget of £450,000 to spend on a home with far-reaching views to house both themselves and David's mother, Dolly. Still to come, I offer them a cheeky solution to solve a problem.
I think it might be just a bit too small.
It's too tiny.
Bunk beds?
What a great idea.
And I dig deep into Cornwall's pottery past.
That's not too bad.
It's harder than it looks, isn't it? It's so much harder than it looks. Well, it's not uncommon to meet a couple who have differences of opinion as to the style of property they're after, but rarely have I seen those differences so sharply articulated as they were yesterday as we viewed, let's face it, 2 very contrasting properties. So what about our final offering? Well, we're going to switch tack from Cornwall's north coast to its south, but where? Well, that is the mystery.
For our final property destination, we're travelling to the port of Falmouth, down in the south of the county. Steeped in history, this port's importance stretches back to Tudor times, when Henry VIII built the coastal fortress of Pendennis Castle here. In a strategic location overlooking the natural harbour, it made the perfect place to fend off foreign invasion. Today, Falmouth attracts boating enthusiasts on vessels of all shapes and sizes, and the harbour side is home to Cornwall's National Maritime Museum, which opened in 2003. What's more, the town was recently ranked in the top 5 best places to live in Britain. All the more reason to consider this area for our buyers. On the outskirts of the town, we come to our final house, which I think will offer them both what they're looking for.
Right, guys, come into this corner of the garden because I think this gives you the best aspect to really appreciate what our mystery house offers you.
Wow.
Okay.
It looks very, very traditional.
I mean, I don't suppose you probably would have considered Falmouth.
No.
But we've chucked it in the mix because of what it gives you, and in particular, Dolly. And the way the house is appointed, as you'll see when we get inside, I think it would really suit Dolly very well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good. Sounds interesting.
Good, right. Let's see what you think.
Dating back to the 1930s, this is the youngest property of the lot, and although out of their search area, it has an ideal layout for multi-generational living, with roomy proportions throughout.
In you come. Look at this. Nice hallway for you.
Yeah.
And then in here, I guess probably arguably the main event, really.
Yes.
Central living room. The fireplace is obviously the focal
Fireplace.
point.
Yeah.
Yes, amazing.
Very nice. That's lovely, isn't it? Yeah.
It is lovely. It's
Nice
a
big room.
beautiful room.
Yeah. And it's got that sense of character, but I hope a sense
It's
of
still
new.
modern, yes. Yeah.
Let's have a look at the kitchen. That's right to here. There you go.
Really good, isn't it?
It's nice
kitchen.
and light. Yeah. Yeah.
Very nice
Got the
kitchen.
skylights.
Something of a kind of kitchen diner as well.
Yeah, you could make a nice breakfast room here, isn't it? Yeah.
A lot of light coming in.
It's a nice kitchen.
It's a
Yeah.
nice kitchen.
Are we scoring some points?
Yeah, the kitchen's nice.
We've got a few back.
Yeah, hurrah!
And I hope to improve on that score in the next room. It's perfect for David's mother and is easily accessible just across the hall.
There, would this be big enough for Dolly's needs, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
single bed.
Yeah?
Give a lot more space.
Room for a dressing table,
Yeah.
comfy chair maybe, as well. And there's the wet room,
Oh,
which is really simple, you know,
Yeah,
really
straight
straightforward.
into it. It's
Yeah. But let's think about you two. Let's get upstairs. You've got 3 bedrooms up there as well.
okay.
With David's mother well catered for on the ground floor, it's time to check out the 3 further bedrooms upstairs. One is a neutrally toned double and the second a single used as a playroom. There's also a well-appointed family bathroom and then the master bedroom.
There we go.
It might be a bit small for the
Yeah.
bed. It's nice and light, very big windows, nice white floors. I like what they've done with that. But I think it might be just a bit too small.
It's tiny.
Bunk beds.
What a great idea.
Oi!
Yay! Could be the future, you
On
never
the
know.
top.
We're here to find solutions. That's what we do.
So whilst the downstairs layout could work for David's mother, upstairs they are clearly feeling the pinch. So let's hope the garden makes up for it.
It does surround the property, which is nice, so it's completely detached. There's a little sort of workshop come store shed, as it were,
Okay.
that way. And then, of course, you've got the summer house here
Yeah.
as well. But, yeah, I'm glad we've come here. I think it's a really interesting option to throw into the mix.
It's very interesting. Traditional. Got everything we want inside. Very good dolly space, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Well, let's consider the price, shall we? Our final price guess of the week. Jenny?
Well, because of the location, I'm going to say 465.
465. So, over budget. David?
I'm going to go for 435.
This is on the market for £400,000.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right then, off you go. Take your time. Soak up the atmosphere here. I will come and find you a little bit later when they've figured out what to do with that £50,000 change.
Comfortably under budget at £400,000, our mystery house gives David and Jenny much to consider. It has 3 bedrooms plus a ground floor ensuite and comes with a mix of contemporary and character that might just suit them both. And although it's set in an unexpected location, it does offer a great setup for 2 generations to live happily together within easy reach of key amenities.
When you step through the front door of the house, you get a very modern feel. Quite surprised, very spacious. They brought some of the 1930s details into the fireplace in some of the rooms, which I really enjoyed.
I think coming and seeing the Mystery House, we've learnt a lot that Falmouth is well worth considering, and the Mystery House gave us a positive outlook on this area.
All done?
Yep, all done.
So we gave you 3 properties. That was the deal. Have we sealed the deal?
We need to think about it.
I think you do. Right then, after you. Off you go. Let's get you somewhere where you can think about it.
Drawn by the breathtaking scenery and quality of light, Cornwall has long been a popular destination for creatives, and nowhere more so than St Ives, which is widely renowned as an artistic hub. In recognition of its contribution to abstract art, the Tate St Ives opened in 1993 and has attracted some 4 million visitors through its doors. Also of interest is what's considered to be the birthplace of British studio pottery, pioneered by the late Bernard Leach in the 1920s. I've come along to the studio to meet director Julia Twomlow to find out about its enduring legacy.
This is wonderful. I wasn't expecting to find something so evocative. I mean, I do feel like I've stepped back into the 1920s.
Yeah, it's a very special place indeed.
Now, I have to confess, I'm not hugely familiar with Bernard Leach, or indeed his work. Tell us a bit more about him.
Well, I don't think that's unusual in itself, because actually, although he's a famous name in the pottery world, he isn't generally on everybody's lips in the UK. He's much more famous in Japan.
But why is he so well known in the Far East?
I think that's because that's where he established himself, and he really made himself an important reputation there. He became involved with other Japanese artists, and they invited him to go to what's called a raku firing, a party. And a raku firing is like a low-temperature firing. The pots are made, they're decorated, and then they're fired up to about 900 degrees, I believe it is, and then they have a rapid cooling process.
It was the magic of these parties that inspired Leach to become a potter, and where he met the much-revered Shoji Ramada. When he returned to Britain in the 1920s, they came back together and built traditional Japanese kilns that fired many of their original designs.
So for anybody wanting to identify a classic piece, what would they be looking for from the examples behind you?
So if I just show you, you take that piece a moment.
A lovely-looking tankard.
Yes, if you look at that, you can see, I think, the Western influence in there in the design. And within this, you can see, hopefully, you've got the more Eastern kind of form there with the bamboo handle.
Yeah.
And again, the glazes are reminiscent of Eastern glazes as well.
Well, I'm certainly impressed with this fusion of pottery styles and the Oriental influences behind them. So to find out how you follow in such a master's footsteps, I'm going to see one of the current employees, Roelof Ace.
Roelof.
Hello.
Hello, mate. Nice to see you. What are you doing?
I'm just applying some wax to these pots and getting them ready for glazing later.
But the pottery seems to attract potters from all over the world. How many have you got working here now?
At the moment, there's 7 potters, including myself, working here.
Are you copying those early designs, or are you able to reinterpret the Leach philosophy?
What we do here really is to reinterpret that. We don't copy. So, for example, if you look at the mugs from the old pottery, the shape has changed. Although there's echoes of that shape in it. It's smaller and the lines are just softer and adapted for modern needs.
I'm very happy to get my hands dirty today, so can you show me the process?
Yeah, of course. Let's go down to the old pottery.
It's clear it takes a lot of skill to make these beautiful pieces, made all the more special by using local clay from nearby St Agnes. Whilst it can take 3 years of training to perfect a pot, I'm being thrown the challenge of making one myself, although a mere amateur.
So you're going to centre it for me,
Yeah, and I'll start you off and then see how you get on.
then I can make a real hash of it, yeah.
Okay. It's learning to use all the muscles in your body to do this. That's the hard part. It's, you know, you can have a go from here if you want.
Go on, I'll have a go from
Yeah,
there.
go on.
OK,
And you want it to go,
that way,
yeah,
that way. Ah, right, OK, so
anti-clockwise, yeah.
so just nice, steady.
Firstly, I take both thumbs and press them into the centre.
Oh, that's already going slightly out of kilter.
Okay, well, let me help you just get that back under control and we'll take it from there.
I love the idea that you're getting it back under control. Has a mind of its own, isn't it?
Next, with a clenched hand in a fist, I gently press my curled finger against the clay. And with my other hand inside, I slowly draw the clay upwards.
Oh, hang on.
Keep going, keep going. That's not too bad.
It's harder than it looks, isn't it? It's so much harder than it looks.
But that's not bad. It's almost a bowl and perhaps a flower pot.
I love the idea that it's almost something. Thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
Undoubtedly, it will take a while to hone my pottery skills, but it's been a delight to witness master crafters ensuring that Leach's design philosophy stays relevant to this day.
Well, when we left Mystery Property, David and Jenny were very clear that we'd given them plenty to consider this week, but despite all the relative merits of the properties we've been able to show them, if I'm really honest, I'm still none the wiser as to whether or not this search has actually been successful. So let's go and find them and see what happens next. So this week then, and your house search, how do you think it's gone?
I think it's gone very well because it's sort of brought more into focus what we do want and what we don't want.
So have we opened your eyes to new areas of Cornwall that you hadn't previously considered? Because your initial focus was that northern coast, and that's certainly where we started with our first two properties.
I think you have, definitely. I mean, looking at the Falmouth area and around there, although we hadn't really considered it before, it's got so many plus points and it's such a lovely area. I think you've given us ideas to maybe to widen the net.
Now, I don't get the feeling that we have sold you a property this week, but just humour me. If you had to pick one of the three, which one would it be, Jenny?
Well, for me, on layout would be property number 2, because I love the open planness of it all. And, I like the view from the back window. That was very good.
David?
I think I'd have property number 2, but exactly where property number 1 was.
That is such a common refrain. If only we could pick them up and move them, we'd sell more properties, that is for sure. But it's just not possible. In looking ahead at your search, which I'm sure will now continue, have your criteria changed at all?
From my point of view, I think we might have to put more money into the pot to buy a house to get exactly what we want. I think that's made me think a little bit more, what will I get for another 100 grand? So I think I need to really think carefully about the spend on the property.
What happens next? I guess whatever it is, it's going to be fast.
I think what we're going to have to do, obviously our property is as good as sold now, and we need to be out in about 5 or 6 weeks. So it looks like we'll be looking for somewhere to rent in the meantime and keep looking hard around this area.
We wish you all the very best of luck, guys. It's been a lot of fun. And I look forward to hearing, I hope very soon, that you've finally moved to Cornwall.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you
Yeah,
very
it's been a
much.
lot of fun and we've learnt a lot. So.
Thank you, Jules.
You know, the phrase less is more is one I've often relied upon throughout my life to try and find simple solutions to complex problems. But my experiences this week with David and with Jenny may yet have turned that simple rule of thumb on its head. When we met them, they were very clear. They wanted a home with less rooms, but as it's turned out, they may end up paying an awful lot more for it. But when it comes to house hunting, well, sometimes that's just how it goes. I'll see you next time.
As a result of encouraging David and Jenny to look on the south coast, they quickly found a property in Looe, and I'm pleased to say they've had their offer accepted. If you would like to escape to the country in Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales or England and need our help, then please apply online at bbc.co.uk/Be On A Show.